All right, I gotta tell you, Wes just fucking freaked me out for two reasons. Number one, I think I'm his parents' age, because that frickin' modem trick would totally work on me. And the second thing is, I gotta tell you, the very first concert I went to in my life, 1975, Gordon Lightfoot. Swear to fucking Christ. Was he Googling me? That is so weird. And I mean, I was like a sophomore in high school. I went with my brother's best friend. I mean, it was just one of those dates, you can imagine. But anyway, so I gotta collect myself now because that just freaked me out. All right, enough of that. All right, maybe here, let me have a drink. I'll be all right. Thank you. I gotta get a look at all of you. Okay, who's here? God, you look young. Oh, hallelujah. All right, here's my peeps over here. Hi, all right. I want to tell you what's really been cracking me up lately, and a few of you just might be offended. I'm getting a kick out of all these 28-year-old hipsters walking around acting like they invented pot. Are you with me? Yeah.
Excuse me, I mean cannabis.
Right. Oh, look, you're with me too. Yeah. I mean, geez, Louise, I have eyes, right? There are definitely some old stoners in this room that are probably still current stoners. It's like, listen, you little fuckers, and I guess I'm talking to you people. We did this shit when it was illegal. Yeah, right? Right. I mean, nowadays you go to the Apple store, or you go to the dispensary, excuse me, and it's like you're at the Apple store, right? I mean, isn't it really just a matter of time before Apple gets into the cannabis business? Yeah, I mean, can't you see it now? The iBong 12, right? The iBlunt 7, the iBowl 6. I mean, instead of a Genius bar, they'd have like a stoner bar, and then all of us 60-year-olds would be in there with these oil cartridge things, and why is this thing not working? And, you know, they're getting the alcohol and the Q-tips out to teach us how to work that shit. I mean, it's sad. It's really sad. I mean, when we were young, we were carving apples into pipes. Did you ever do that? Sure. Yeah, it was organic in those days. Yeah, I mean, listen, when I was a kid, I was scoring from some degenerate guy from the public high school in the parking lot behind McDonald's. Yep, that's where business got done in those days. Yeah. And listen, we didn't know an ounce from a gram in the 70s. I mean, we didn't have scales. We measured things the old-fashioned way, right, folks? You got it, with our fingers. Yeah, and if I had my rolling tray here, I'd give you one right now, sir. I mean, in those days, literally, you could get a 3-finger bag, or if you had a job, you probably could afford a 5-finger bag, right? And let me tell you, we are so spoiled with the quality now. I mean, your typical 3-finger bag in 1976 was 2 fingers of some really crappy Mexican shake, right, with some seeds and stems, and that 3rd finger was literally dirt. I mean, you could take that little Ziploc and shake it, and you just have like a little layer of dirt at the bottom. It was terrible, and it tasted like dirt. It was terrible. You're so spoiled now, you know. And in those days, we were so paranoid. I mean, you couldn't talk about pot on the phone in the 1970s. We were. Thank you. Yeah, because, well, in actuality, probably nobody gave a shit, but we thought they were listening, right? I mean, my first husband used to say, just because we're paranoid doesn't mean they're not after us. Right? Think about that for a minute. Yeah, I mean, we used to have to talk in code words. Like, my code word was Larry. So I'd be like, hey, Bob, I'm meeting Larry for lunch at the bakery today. Did you say you wanted a full loaf or a half a loaf of that sourdough? Right? That's how we had to do it. That's how it was. Now, I'm a fan of statistics, and I can already kind of tell, but just by a show of hands, how many people in the room under the age of 45? Right up here, of course, right here in the middle. Yeah, okay, yeah, well, there's a lot of you fuckers. All right. I want you to know that I have been smoking pot longer than you have been alive. Right? And I think I'm not alone in this room. And I want to tell you how I and we, you too maybe, have justified it all these years. I have what I call the functioning scale. the way I look at it, I function at this level, right? Most people function at this level. So I figure I have to give myself a little bit of a handicap so others just have a fighting chance. That's a fair theory, isn't it? Yes, we can be happy about that. All right, I'm gonna get off of that now. You know, it's funny, you see all these comics, you folks probably like comedy, you come to shows, and people think that comics, because we get up here and we're funny, that we must be really nice people. Oh my God, that couldn't be further from the truth, could it, Joe? I mean, listen, if I'm being totally honest with you, I don't really like people that much. I mean, you gotta admit, the world would be better if some of these people weren't here. Not anybody in this room, of course, but we know who we're talking about. Yeah. I mean, it's not just that I don't like people. There are people I don't trust. I'll tell you who I don't trust. I don't trust people that don't like television, right? I mean, there may be some of you here, and many of us have this friend, right? It's like, oh, we don't watch TV. or this worse, oh, we don't have a television. Oh my God. It's like, when someone says that to me, here's what I hear. I'm smarter than you. I read books. Fuck you. I am not ashamed to tell you, I love television. I love everything about it. I grew up in a house with a TV in every room. I mean, we were nouveau riche back in those days. And you know, people like to think that we had big families in the 70s because we had no birth control. That's bullshit. We had big families in the 70s because we had no remote control, right? I mean, my mother would call me from 3 rooms away to come and change that channel. Remember? I'd like, what, your leg's broken? You know, and then just about the time one of us would get big enough to say no, she'd just pop out another one, right? I mean, you look at your typical family picture from the 70s, every Irish, Polish, Italian Catholic family, 6, 7, 8 kids, right? All 2 years apart, because that's the age when you learn to say no. I mean, I look at those pictures and I think, half you little channel changers wouldn't be here if the remote control had been invented 10 years earlier. I'm just saying. I mean, you know, Wes was talking about how we didn't care about kids until the late 90s, which is so true, but boy, we really didn't like them in the 70s. I mean, I don't think my parents liked us at all. I mean, do you remember the way they used to load us into a car? Oh my God. I mean, before SUVs and baby car seats and all that shit, I mean, we used to drive these awful station wagons, remember? And they'd have that terrible wood panel, whatever the fuck that was about. And your typical 70s station wagon, of course, Dad would be driving, cigarette hanging out the window. And they would just put the toddler in the middle. No seatbelt. Nobody wore a seatbelt in 1974. And then Mom would just hold the infant on her lap. Because listen, if she was going through that windshield, she was taking one of those little buggers with her. Dad was not going to be stuck with all those kids. And then in the car my parents had, we had what I called the suicide seat in the way back. Remember, you know that one that faced out? Holy shit. I mean, that's typically where you put the kids you didn't like so much. And I hate to tell you guys, it was usually the middle boys. I mean, it was bad enough you were gonna die, you were gonna watch it happen. I mean, honestly, in those days, when you had 7 or 8 kids, it didn't matter as much if you lost a couple along the way. It's not like today where you don't even let them play in the yard without you. It's crazy. Now, me personally, I have one biological daughter. She's in her late 20s. I have 3 stepchildren from a previous marriage. I've had 2 husbands. Go into that math another time. Now, they would both love to be here tonight. But unfortunately, they're both deceased. I know. What, double widow. What are the chances of that? But now, I know what you might be thinking. 2 dead husbands? Really? What's the common denominator there? I swear to God, I had nothing to do with it. Well, or maybe I did. Just saying, you might want to keep laughing at my jokes. Yeah, now I don't want you to get the wrong idea about me. It's not that I can't keep a man. I just can't keep a man alive. I mean, it's gotten so bad that I have friends that are trying to fix me up with guys they don't like. That's sad. Now, 2 dead husbands. You can imagine how that goes over on a first date, right? Oh, shit. That's a mighty aphrodisiac. Do you know what an aphrodisiac is, don't you? Oh, of course I'm sorry. What's your name? Marcel. Oh, of course you know. Marcel, aphrodisiac, of course. I didn't mean to be condescending. That means talking down to people. So you know. Yeah. No, I mean, so there I was in my late 50s, back out in the dating scene, and oh, God, let me tell you, it is brutal out there for women of a certain age. You know, you're with me. And like everybody, I decided to check out the online dating scene, you know, sign up for that Match.com, you know, that site where everybody's picture is about 10 years old, including mine. And that other one for mature singles, Our Time, oh, what a shit show. I mean, yeah, have you been there? You're shaking your head, or you're just guessing. Oh, jeez. I mean, they really should call it Out of Time. I'm just saying. You know, I want to just talk about this online dating thing for a few more minutes. Are you bringing me a drink? Oh no, them. Okay. All right, you go right ahead. So, where was I? I was talking about the online dating. I want to talk for a minute. You know. When you do this later in life, it's a whole different animal, and men really just aren't so good at building these profiles. And I got to tell you, guys, if you're over 50 and you're on the online dating scene, you got to really pay attention to that profile picture, right? I mean, that is your one chance to get our attention. And some of you are not putting your best foot forward. I mean, if I have to go like this to look at your picture, you're gone. I mean, let me tell you a couple other things that are deal killers for me. One is when a guy, his headshot is head to toe camouflage. We see that a lot here in Michigan. My first thought is, who the fuck are you hiding from? And typically that is accompanied by the offering of the trout. Which I guess you think I'm gonna clean and cook for you. Or the other one is they like to get that straddle on that big 8-point buck, right? Yeah. If only they knew it's 8 inches we're looking for, not 8 points. Yeah. Oh, was that offensive? I'm sorry. Another one I love is, I see this a lot when a man has a group shot as his profile picture, right? Now, it's usually like his golf foursome. But now I gotta go on some kind of Where's Waldo journey to figure out which one you are. And ladies, I'm sure you'll agree with me, it's never the one you'd hoped. Yeah. It's always a third ugly from the left. I'm like, I'm not really interested in you, but what's your buddy there in the polo shirt? You know, another one I love, and this is very popular among older men for some reason, this is the shirtless profile photo. Oh, God. I mean, that's painful, isn't it? I mean, listen, unless that picture was taken on the deck of your 80-foot yacht, you just need to cover all that shit up. I'm sorry. You know, and the other thing I don't understand is all of these 42-year-old men out there trying to get with 60-something-year-old women. I don't understand what that's about at all. I mean, well, maybe I do, but just saying. I had this one guy was talking to me on Match, and he was super cute, way too young for me, a tattoo artist, but kind of interesting and sexy. And I said, you know, dude, you're really cute and everything, but I'm probably old enough to be your mother. As it turned out, I was 2 years older than his mother. And he said to me what men say in that situation, oh, sweetie, age is just a number. I said, we'll see how you like that number when you're 66 and I'm 88. Try that number on. At one point I said to him, do you have some kind of Mrs. Robinson fantasy? He had no idea what I was talking about. None whatsoever. Yikes. You know what? Screw it. Screw dating. It's, you know, I mean, if you think about it, how many folks here are married? You've got some people who've been married for a long time? I mean, you folks, I mean, if you think about it, when you've been together a long time, it really just becomes about who does what around the house. I'm going to pick on you for a minute. What's your name, sir? Paul? Paul, P-A-U-L? That's it. Okay, I'm sorry, I got one ear that works. And you? I'm the lead. Annalie and Paul, are you from out of the U.S.?
I am.
You are? I love your accent. Paul and Annalie, how many years you been married?
45.
Oh, all right, so you'll relate to this. So, Annalie, let me ask you, have you ever thought about killing him? Just saying. We'll talk later. So I gotta guess that like maybe the two of you are sitting around on a Saturday morning, right? You're having your coffee, getting ready for your day, and Annalie pulls out her list of things she has to do today, and there's like 27 things on the list. And then Paul pulls out his list. There's like 4 things on it. And they're looking at each other, and he says, well, what are you keeping score? And then you, of course, say, no. But I got news flash for you, Paul. We are absolutely fucking keeping score. Trust me. And guess what? You're losing. Yeah. I mean, if this were the NFL, we'd be the Detroit Lions. You'd be Tampa Bay, I guess. I don't know. I had to change that joke all around this year. They really fucked me over on that one. It doesn't go as well anymore. People used to boo me when I would say, and you're the Lions. Anyway, so, I mean, where was I? Oh, okay, so you're losing. I mean, so, I can't forget that. Let's face it, we're all keeping score, right? People in relationships love to keep track of who does what, who says what, and blah, 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 blah. You know, it's age old. I mean, my first husband, who happened to be like a stoner legend here in Ann Arbor. Do any of you older folks ever go to Mr. Flood's party back in the day? You may not be. I think you're too young for that. But he really introduced me to pot. But he had this habit. I'd ask him to do something around the house, and he would say yes, and then he would proceed to do it all wrong, on purpose, over and over and over again. Until finally I would just be like, you know what, forget it. I'll load the dishwasher myself. And then number 2, Mr. Passive Aggressive, he would agree to do something around the house, but then there'd be like no sense of urgency about it, right? So every Tuesday night, there I'd be dragging those trash cans out to the curb every fucking Tuesday. And every fucking Tuesday I'd come in the house and you know what he'd say, right?
Oh, I was just gonna do that.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, my joke writer. You know, it's funny. We love to talk about how stupid men are, but did you notice in both of those stories who ended up doing the chore? Yeah, assholes. All right, before I get out of here and we bring out our next comic, I want to get serious for just a minute. I'm not 100% positive, but I'm pretty sure that I was a gay man in my past life. Yeah. Now you're wondering, how would you know that? So a few months back, my dad passed away, sadly, and we were cleaning out his house last year, and I came across the old Halloween album. So I'm flipping through. I'm like, oh, look at me, age 5. Oh, I was a cowboy. How cute. Age 6. Huh, Indian chief. Interesting. Age 7. Motorcycle cop. Age 8. Oh my God, I forgot what page 8 was. Fuck it. I don't know. Cowboy again. I shouldn't have smoked that joint on the way here. I'm telling you. Got me a little wacky. Yeah. No, I guess I wanted to be all the village people. And then in middle school, I was going through my middle school yearbook, and in every team picture, I'm standing there like this. Track team, choir, drama club. Do you know why gay men stand like this, Marcel? Yeah, because there isn't always room to do this. Now you know. And then the last clue, I was in New York a few months ago, and I was going to a fundraiser, and so I decided to go and have my hair and makeup done professionally. Thought that would be a fun thing to do. So I leave the salon, I'm feeling really good about myself, walking down Fifth Avenue, owning the world, and I see a bunch of people looking in the display windows at Saks. So I go, oh, I'll go take a look. And it's Christmas time, so there's just gorgeous displays, and I'm looking at everything, and I can kind of see the reflection of the people around me in the window, and I think to myself, wow, that's a good-looking drag queen. Holy shit, it was me. Oh my God. All right, that's my time. Thank you. You've been a lot of fun.